Good afternoon, everyone. It's Thursday, April 2nd, and I'm representing the Huskies once again. The men play tonight, and the women play tomorrow, so good luck. As you can see, it's quite gray, I guess you could say. It's in the upper 30s, low 40s right now for today. And actually, this past week so far, it's been really, really nice. It's been in the upper 60s, low 70s the past couple of days now, and I've gone outside to do a lot of yard work, and I'll show you some of that right now. So this past weekend, it's been pretty nice out. So what I did is I came out and I dug holes right where I'm going to be putting all my seedlings, and all I did was dig a hole deep enough to fit one of these pots in there, because that's exactly the size I'm going to put it in there. And over the next week, I'm just going to be taking my seedlings and putting them in like this, so that way they could get used to where they're going to be. And if it gets too cold, or if it rains too hard or something like that, I could always take them and bring them into my greenhouse. But I'm going to do this over like the next week or so, and start getting my seedlings used to my plants. I also move my seedlings into my greenhouse. We got some storms coming tomorrow, so I'm going to be taking my plants here. You can see I put them in the cups. I'm just going to be taking my plants and putting them in the greenhouse for tomorrow. So I'll be keeping an eye on those, and what I'm also doing this weekend is I'm moving all my lilies into the ground too. And what I do is I just have them soaking in water for a few hours, for about 2 to 3 hours, and then I'm gonna dig down about 6 inches and I'll plant them. And I did some Easter lilies. I moved my fusion hybrid lilies and some stargazer lilies. I'm also putting in a few more lilies, so that should be coming up later in the year. And how I plant my lilies, I just make a hole and I make sure it's about 6 to 8 inches deep. And this hole is probably about 6 inches deep. And all I do is I just take the lily, and this is the stem and the roots are down here, and just put them in the hole. And you got to make sure that the hole is deep enough, because if the hole is not deep enough, the lilies will grow sideways out of the ground. So you want to make sure that the hole is deep enough. So then you just cover it up, and that's it for the lilies. And I also got a chance to get outside and get rid of a lot of the sticks in my yard. Alright, so let's go check on some of these plants. I have some of them actually starting to peek through. I don't know if you can see the colors over there, but we'll get to those. First things first, I'm going to leave some peanuts for the blue jays. It's kind of late, so they'll probably wait for the morning for them. If you come over here, my dandelions are starting to show that right there. But if you come over here, I have some tulips I planted over here starting to peek through right there, so I'll be keeping an eye on those tulips. Coming over here, I have the 2 daffodils there, or 3 daffodils there, and then coming across the front yard here, I have them all in a straight line going down. So there's one there, one there, there. They're all doing pretty good. I think that one just gets stepped on by the mailman, but that's alright. Coming over here to the crocuses. See those? There's a tulip that's starting to stick up there. That one I'm pretty excited for. This is all the mugwort. Mugwort that's all right there. Coming over here, all these daffodils are starting to come through. I have a couple of tulips right there. And then that's a daylily, but come down here, you can check them out. I did put in my lilies, a couple of lilies, like around the bases of the trees. There's one there, one there. And they'll be coming up later on, probably around June, July, I would say. Here, this little white one's still there. And then coming over here. So all these are doing pretty good. These are the orange daylilies, and then these are all the different tulips. The violets are starting to come through. These are all violets right here. That will just fill in a lot of spaces. More tulips there. This is the columbine right here, and then the cardinal plant right over here. I've been picking these, a lot of these. These are those like helicopter pods. These things, they turn into those little things and they grow everywhere right here. And if you just pick them, they just die off. But if you don't pick them, they grow into like little trees actually. There's some tulips there. Oh, the irises are looking all right from the other week, from about a week or two ago from when I replaced them. Come over here, the little mini daffodils are starting to poke through. The one on this side, I think it has been stepped on a lot. But there should be one there. And then there's one on this side too, somewhere. But yeah, I was gonna have like a little trail leading up to the steps here. There's some daffodils, the tulip, the iris doing pretty good right there. I was trying to remember what this was from last year, but I can't remember, so I guess I'll figure that out. That's the calla lily, I believe, right there. The cardinal plant, this is all more violets, daylily. Coming over here, to all the tulips, the daylily there, and the hyacinths here. And over here to these tulips right here. And this iris is doing pretty good. The rose right here, this is the yellow rose. I was looking at it, and right here you can see new stems starting to come up and form. So that's good. There's a lot of green in the back starting to come through. Some of the plant might have died off. You see some chipping there, but it just looks like it just might be the bark on it. It looks pretty good so far. Coming over here to this, the pink rose. And this is looking really good too, pretty healthy. You can see all the little sprouts coming off. There's a little leaf actually right there. There's a hyacinth that just poked through right there. Over here to these guys. And then this is where I left the rose plant. A little bit in the video, you'll see what I'm talking about, but this is right here where I left the rose. But if you come over here, there's some tulips I planted that I had forgotten about. And these ones, I wish that they were sprouting in the front, but I'll keep an eye on these guys too and show you what those look like. But let's go check out those backyard gardens. So coming back here to the grapes in the greenhouse, the grapes aren't showing anything quite yet, but you can see I have some orange daylilies starting to pop up here. There's also one right there. And then that's the pile of mulch I've got going on. Then if you come in here, I brought my seedlings in here just for today. So once it starts warming up, I'll bring them back outside. If you could see here, it went from about 100 degrees yesterday to just barely 50 degrees in here today. So the plants are looking pretty good, all my seedlings. These are all the marigolds, and those are the petunias. And everything looks pretty good. The sunflowers are, some of them are doing pretty good. After I brought some of them outside, some of them didn't really make it. But that's okay, I have plenty of them. I tried to move some of my plants outside, and I believe a rabbit got to it. And if you could see the rows here, pretty much half my plant got eaten. So I learned these little thorns here aren't strong enough yet. So I'm gonna keep an eye on this one. I got another rose to replace it, but I also have some other plants here that got eaten too. So keep an eye on those. Coming back here to the garden beds. I'm gonna put the pumpkin and the watermelon in probably this coming week if it's warm enough. The blueberries down here. There's that one. And there's that one right there. I did put some strawberry runners in the fall of last year right here. So I'm going to keep an eye on them to see if anything pops up. Well, the grapes are right here. Alright, let's get that daily dose of duck. And today's duck of the day is the Easter duck. Have a good day, everybody, and thanks for watching.